It's draft night, NBA draft 2023. And the Sixers got nothing. No picks, no rumors, nothing happening. NBA is making moves left and right. Teams are doing this and that. Everyone's preparing for Victor Wembanyama or whatever his name is to make his big debut tonight on the grand stage. The Sixers got nothing. We're going to talk about all the rumors floating around the NBA. Sixers topics, the big Celtics trade last night of Marcus Smart. We're going to talk all NBA today. Trending in the AM starts in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow, shout it from the rooftops. Tell everybody, tell a friend. Go knock on your neighbor's door. Tell them Trending in the AM's on. It's the only sports show where your opinion actually matters, and it's the best daily sports YouTube show in the Philadelphia area. Hell, I'll put it up against anything on the radio. What is up, everybody? I'm Phil Stiefel, your host, as always. We're live, as we always are, and it's NBA draft night. And as I say right here in the comment, pickless, the Sixers. I got the Sixers draft history up on a side screen. And all these years of all these draft picks, all these years we've had 5, 6 picks, everything, all this stuff, and it's all over. There's nothing tonight. Do they make a move or not? They stay pat with what they've got, which is nothing tonight. That is a big topic. We're going to dive a little bit into Victor Wembanyama. Is he the real deal or not? And this is something interesting that I want to talk about today is James Harden's decision holding up a Tobias Harris decision. I think that's something really interesting to dive into. Obviously, the Celtics traded Marcus Smart last night. That really shocked me. When I saw that trade went through, I was shocked. It was supposed to be Malcolm Brogdon, and instead Marcus Smart gets traded. Huge move right there. So we got lots going on. Hell, on God's green earth, do the Celtics get Porzingis and 2 first-round picks? Well, they gave up Marcus Smart. And, I mean, if you want to dive into that part of this conversation right off the bat. So yesterday there were a lot of rumors that Porzingis was going to the Celtics, and they were giving up Malcolm Brogdon in a 3-team deal. Well, then at some point last night after I turned Twitter off, after I turned social media off, good morning, Adam. What's happening, my man, and Drew? Marshawn, I turned Twitter off, and I wake up this morning, I turn my phone on, and I see it. The Celtics get Kristaps Porzingis, 2 first-round picks. The Grizzlies get Marcus Smart. The Wizards only get Tyrus Jones and a 2023 second-round pick. Porzingis and 2 first-round picks for Marcus Smart, for Tyrus Jones, and a second-round pick. Just think that out there real quick. I mean, wow. That's what I could say. Like, that is a big trade. That is, a really confusing trade. There's so much to unpack. Marcus Smart isn't the best player in that trade. Really? See, that's bold. I'm a huge Marcus Smart fan. Marcus Smart is the guy you hate when he's on the opposing team. But Marcus Smart is the guy you love when he's playing for your team. Does that make sense? Because that's how I feel about Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart pisses a lot of us off a lot of the time when he's playing for Boston. And I'm glad he's out of Boston. I'm glad he's in the Western Conference. The Grizzlies basically are giving up on Dylan Brooks and are moving on from him and got a better version of Dylan Brooks. He's gritty, Marcus Smart, plays great defense, is a team leader. Boston might be taking a step back by losing probably their best leader on that team. Kristaps Porzingis is a really good player, but he's never held. I mocked Kristaps Porzingis to the Sixers a week or two ago, and most people, Marshawn, on this show, Twitter, hated me for that. Chris Scott saying Tobias will get traded tonight for a player and a first-round pick. So you're saying an Indiana Pacers trade maybe a Buddy Hield and a first-round pick? I got the NBA trade machine up just to figure out contract values and stuff like that. And let me tell you something. The Buddy Hield Pacers for Tobias Harris trade, you need to put something else in the trade, Chris. And I'm looking at what they have in that 8 to 9. They might have to include a Daniel Theis, a TJ McConnell, something like that. I know Sixers fans would love TJ McConnell back here. Marcus Smart is an effort guy, but not that good. But teams that want to win titles need effort guys, do they not? Like, I'm pretty sure effort guys are very important to the success of franchises. And Kristaps Porzingis, he's that trade. Does that even make the Celtics better? Porzingis is just another Al Horford, younger. Like, Porzingis is just a stretch 4, stretch 5 that shoots threes, doesn't play great defense a little bit. He is often hurt. I don't know. You're either Porzingis is going to have to start and Horford's going to move to the bench, or Horford starts and Porzingis is off the bench, or the Celtics are going to have to find a way to trade Al Horford and his big contract. I don't know what happens there. I'm just shocked because maybe I value Marcus Smart more than some of you guys do. Big Tobias trade, big night for Sixers fans. Hey, I'm hoping so. Like right now, like the Phillies play during the day. If it doesn't get rained out, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I got the night off. I'm off work at 5, whatever. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. The NBA draft is normally exciting. It goes a little quicker than the NFL draft. But, man, I got no clue what the Sixers are going to do tonight. I love Marcus Smart, but you are getting KP, who had a good season last year, and 2 first. Yeah, the thing, Marshawn, you're right. They are getting 2 first-round picks. Like, that just shocks me that they thought Marcus Smart was worth, the other team, giving up 2 first-round picks. And at Washington Wizards, the other end of this deal, I mean, I'll just say it now. I mean, Washington is what it is. They were going to lose Kristaps Porzingis no matter what, get Tyrese Jones, who they can eventually reflip for something else, and a second-round pick. I mean, at least they got something in this deal. I think maybe they could have found a way to get a little bit more, but Marcus Smart is a good player, super underrated playmaker, great in the post and the pick and roll, and elite D. Exactly, Cam, I'm on board with you. I value the extra stuff. Like, you guys don't know me for only have known me for a few months now, but I've talked so much on this show about the word intangibles and stuff like that and the ancillary things players do. And Marcus Smart does those other things. Every NBA franchise, every sports franchise needs a who is the Marcus Smart on the Sixers? PJ Tucker? I mean, I guess he got into Joel Embiid's ear in the playoffs and that helped. But every team needs a Marcus Smart. The good thing about the Eagles, they have Jalen Hurts as that guy. He's also the most talented player, but he's also the most, leadership and side things. New players stir the pot of the secret sauce. I guess Porzingis is going to mix things up. Marcus Smart is going to make the Grizzlies better. He's going to help fill that point guard role till Ja Morant comes back from his 25-game suspension, and then a smart Ja Morant backcourt. Is that better than a Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks backcourt? Probably. Smart's the definition of feast or famine. He isn't consistent in anything. I was looking at his numbers. I mean, I know he's not a great shooter. I know it. But, yeah, I mean, and Marcus Smart also misses games. I talk about, and everyone told me that not to want Porzingis on the Sixers because he's never healthy. And every player we talk about, and I got into it on Twitter with a lot of people yesterday. I'll pull up my poll from yesterday's Twitter later on in the show. But, man, everybody talks about this guy or that guy and how they're injury prone. Marcus Smart misses 15, 20 games a year, too. Celtics should trade Horford, one of those first-round picks, to Memphis, or from Memphis. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to. They can't have Porzingis and Horford starting. Horford doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I got to get Trev from Ref the District, or Stoner, or Dog from Ref the District, their Washington Commanders podcast that's kind of branched out to covering the Wizards and the Nationals as well. I mean, they were happy that the Beal deal happened, but they're not happy about this. I'd love to get their information on it. Yeah, look at you dropping words of wisdom early in the morning on a Thursday. It's 8:38. It's way too early for words of wisdom. Again, if you're watching, we're watching Trend in the AM. Make sure you're liking this video. There's a lot of people watching on Facebook right now. Drop your comments on Facebook. Like this video on Facebook. We got 10 likes on YouTube, but only 1 on Facebook so far. Make sure you hit that like button and put your comments in there. So the Sixers or the Celtics trade is big news today in the NBA. But the draft is tonight, and Tobias Harris, James Harden. Yeah, you wish you can make me fall for that. You wish you could make me fall for that, because because Victor Wembanyama is kind of sort of on the agenda to talk about today. And I don't know if Victor Wembanyama is the real deal or not. I really don't. I don't watch college ball. I know he didn't play in college. He played overseas. Dude, the guy is the kid. I shouldn't even call him a guy. He's a kid. He hasn't even fully developed his body yet. He needs to put on some weight. He needs to put on some muscle. He needs to put on a little bit of everything. And I just don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, they're comparing him to LeBron James. Like, they're literally saying that if rookie LeBron James was in the same draft as Wembanyama today, that Wembanyama would go ahead of LeBron James. When I saw that tweet, I forget who said that. It was a big-name person. I don't know if it was a big name I respect or not, but a big-name person that covers NBA and basketball for a living that gets paid big bucks. I don't get paid big bucks. That they said that Wembanyama would go 1, LeBron 2. It made me stop in my tracks and say, whoa. Who is this kid really? And he could shoot a little bit. He could play defense. He's tall. He's lanky. He can dribble. He's got the handles. He's got all this height. But he's like 7'2", $110. Like literally a strong gust of wind could knock Wembanyama over. What is happening, my man Mitch? Good morning. I wonder what you're thinking. So we're talking about the Celtics trade last night. We're talking NBA draft. We're talking Sixers. And I'm going to say this. Like, there's a lot of rumors floating, but nothing really gaining any traction about Tobias Harris. Does Daryl Morey do anything tonight? Or today? Do we need draft picks? I mean, I'm looking. The Sixers have made so many draft picks over the year. I mean, last year they made a pick, but it was traded to Memphis for DeAnthony Melton. Year before, 3 picks. Year before that, 5 picks. 5 picks year before that. 6 picks. 5 picks. 3, 6. The Joel Embiid year, we had 7 draft picks. 2 of them got traded away. We trade a lot of our draft picks away. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking that the James Harden situation, until that's resolved, Daryl Morey's hands are tied. He doesn't know what to trade Tobias Harris for. He doesn't know what to trade this player for, that player. He doesn't know how to adjust this team until James Harden makes a decision. And I really feel like the Sixers need to, and Daryl Morey needs to put an ultimatum. James Harden, here's your deal. Sign it or go. Because we've got a team to build. We've got a roster to fill out. We've got Summer League. We got to know what we have and don't have. I got offers for Tobias Harris that I'm working on. But either one or the other has to be accepted based off of what you do. So we need the James Harden. I really, truly feel the James Harden decision is holding up the rest of the conversation. Hell, I got crushed for even suggesting Tyrese Maxey trade yesterday. Well, you can't trade Tyrese Maxey if James Harden goes. But if James Harden's staying for 3 years, I mean, you can consider it to bring in another star. My man, Tony. You were jumping in yesterday. I didn't realize it was the Tony that I know it was. Tony from Temple. My man, what is happening? Draft day in the NBA is so much more exciting, though, Chatter, when the Sixers actually have draft picks. Like, even though they've drafted 3 to 6 players every single year for the last 10 years, they've only kept a few of them. And even less made it in the NBA. It's all good, man. I didn't know your last name, and you go by Tony on Twitter, Anthony on YouTube. It's a little confusing. Dude, there's somebody else on here that comes in sometimes on these shows. I had no idea that it was one of the regular people I interact with on Twitter. I was like, what? I think that Tobias will get traded at the deadline. Mitch, this is a very, very interesting comment here. And something I brought up multiple times on this show. When is Tobias Harris's tradable contract, his expiring contract, him as a player, period, when is it most valuable? Now, before the trade deadline, before the draft night, in the next 2 weeks after the draft, when teams have to say they have to pivot after missing out or things not working out the way they had hoped, is it more tradable then? Is it more valuable at the deadline? Now, here's the thing. I think there is a value to it being more tradable at the deadline if the par is the course for the Sixers. They're still a second-round exit type team. They're playing good but not great. The thing is, if Tobias Harris plays well and the Sixers team under Nick Nurse exceeds expectations, then they might not want to trade Tobias Harris at the deadline. But if the Sixers or Tobias Harris has a bad year, then his value drops. I'm not really sure. I think I used to think like you, the trade deadline was where he was most valuable. But the fact that depending on what happens, changes his value in the season, I'm thinking that after the draft, after tonight, after teams have to pivot, is when he will be at his most value. You could trade him for the right amount. Everybody's got a price. You're going to try to get me to make the laugh every single show now. What is up, man? Mitch, you got fans in here. Mahomes and Joker are only exceptions, but even they have a dude. There's a price for Jalen Hurts, man, chatter. There's a price for every athlete in every sport to get traded. Anybody that says a person, a player, a prospect, a minor leaguer, every draft pick, it's untradeable or untouchable, they're lying. Everybody's got a price. Everybody. Yes, hit that like button. 12 likes on YouTube. We got 2 likes on Facebook. I can't believe we've had like a dozen people watching on Facebook even today. Everybody's excited for the draft except for me. Like, I had no care in the world today. Like, I didn't even know. Like, I originally had a guest coming on to talk a little Phillies. Then we were going to dive into the draft. She got sick last night. So we're rolling with draft talk, Sixers talk. And again, it's just we're kind of stuck in the mud right now as Sixers fans. The laugh is the best. My laugh, I got a bunch of different laughs. It just depends on the moment. It's what it is. You know, as long as I keep you happy and keep you guys happy, every time I drop the mid word into a sentence or give you a laugh, it keeps you coming back for more. But now, man, chatter, if you want the laugh, now that I know you love the laugh, you might have to drop a $500 super chat, to get the laugh again. So it might go into hiding until you drop that 500. And if you guys don't know, it's a joke. I don't really want $500 from any of you. I can't do a mock draft, Mitch, because I don't know who any of these kids are. I know Wembanyama. I know the name Scoot Henderson. I know a couple of these names in the top 5. But honestly, I know there's a kid from Villanova that's dropping draft boards. But because the Sixers had no draft picks, and we've known this for so long, I've literally completely ignored every prospect. Like, literally, zero effort has been put into preparing for this draft by me. Like, it'll be on in the background tonight. I'll be watching Twitter to see. I'll be channel surfing. But if something happens and a trade happens, then maybe it'll pique my interest. But honestly, like, the only reason to watch the draft is to see what kind of drip these kids walk out. See, I got that word in there. Walk out on the stage with. Whether it's a mid-drip or not. That's it. Someone chest bump Phil. Draft day. Get big. Yeah, well, Mahomes, and yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah, I need the 500. Anyway, going back into this Tobias James Harden situation. If the rumors are correct and he's going to take a team-friendly deal, just get it done. And if not, you've got to put an ultimatum. The problem is the ultimatum, if you just let him walk and you don't do a sign and trade, whatever. But, man, like, I need to build up my team. I can't be held hostage by James Harden. There's so much else that has to go into there's so much creativity that has to get used to build a championship team for the Sixers this upcoming season that I need James Harden's answer. I do. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Like, yeah. So I'm going to hold on. Let me pull up my profile on Twitter from yesterday. I did a poll yesterday. And it's insane. I know it's insane. But there was a reason behind it. Because Paul George rumors started floating around that he was available and things like that. And I said, would you trade Tyrese Maxey for Paul George? I was like, you're freaking crazy. Why would you trade Tyrese Maxey? Well, you trade Tyrese Maxey because everybody's tradable. There's no untouchable. I'm going through my Twitter page. I made a lot of tweets yesterday. By the way, let me put this one up here. Let me do a quick share screen here. Let's get off subject for a second. I don't know if you can even get them in Buffalo, but these are the new Hers flavors for the summer. We got roast pork, tomato pie, Korean barbecue, the roast pork chips, freaking amazing. The tomato pie, not very good. We'll crack into the Korean barbecue chips today. But man, those roast pork chips. And I put out a tweet. My Hers guy dropped off these new flavors, and you want to know something? It was hilarious. The amount of people that took me saying I've got a Hers guy, the same as if I had a weed guy or something. Like, it kind of blew my mind. It's just a guy that fills the shelf at my pizza shop. It's nothing special, guys. But anyway, let me keep rolling here to this poll question I did yesterday. Wow, it's up to 351 votes too. So it's a fair amount of thing. I just put up a post yesterday. You have to pick one: trade Embiid now and retool to win in a few years around Maxey if he reaches that full potential, or trade Maxey now for a starter pair with Joel and James Harden that gives you a best chance. 58% say trade Maxey, 41% trade Joel Embiid. I'm surprised that many people said Joel Embiid, but the comments on it were insane. Waking up seeing Smart being traded. I hate Marcus Smart, Tony, but I would have been super pumped if he was our point guard because I love him if he was on our team. Dang, I got to find out. Man, you got to get some of those roast pork potato chips from hers, my man, for sure. On that post, there was no funny. On the hers post, on this post, man, I got so many people calling. 351 votes, but about a dozen comments saying and DMs saying, I won't vote because your poll's stupid. Waking up and seeing the Smart trade, that's the point guard. We're getting your comments twice there. Yeah, but so the point of this poll was brought up because it's been the topic this week, a lot of the conversation on this show. Who's untradeable, who isn't untradeable, why are players considered untradeable, or you can't trade them, they're untouchable. I love Tyrese Maxey. I love the potential of Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is only 22 years old. He could be the future of this Sixers team. No doubt about it. But there's no guarantees. Do you not want a title? Like what? Let me pull this poll up again. I closed the poll out. Damn it. Someone comment. I don't want to go through everything all over again. Someone put a post. The Sixers haven't won a title in 40 years. And you're worried about 5 years from now maybe having Tyrese Maxey still? Don't you want the damn title now? Like, I want a title. I want the payoff from the process. I watched every game of the 10-win Sixers team. And every game since then. I've watched all the eighth seed, Andre Iguodala years. I watched all the Iverson years. I watched the Barkley years, the post-Barkley years when they were atrocious, before Allen Iverson. Like, I'm 42. They won their title the last time when I was 2 years old, the Sixers. I'm not worried about the future. It's basically like they've never won an NBA title to me. Get me that title now. If Tyrese Maxey nets you Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, whatever it may be, if it would net you Dame Lillard now has requested a trade, I think we're past the Dame Lillard era, and Dame Lillard and James Harden together probably don't work. But I'm trading Maxey if it's netting me an all-pro, all-NBA type player that's going to give us the best chance at an NBA title now. And if you're not willing to trade Tyrese Maxey because of the future, because you need him 5 years from now, then you better say you're willing to trade Joel Embiid. Like it's a catch-22. I know. Exactly, Adam. Embiid's window is closing fast. We need that star now. We need to win now. Like, anybody that's worried about 5 years from now, Adam, then what's the point? You need that title. You need to win now. Maxey was very impressive, actually. He took it. I see people telling me that he took a Jalen Hurts type leap, though. Like, he took a big leap, but he didn't take a Jalen Hurts type leap. If he took a Jalen Hurts type leap, we would have been playing the Nuggets in the finals, not the Miami Heat. Man, the Sixers are done. They just need to blow it up. Dude, Hogan, I feel your comment, and I feel the frustration in your comment. And obviously, based off your comment, you'd be in the trade Joel Embiid boat. I don't know if I can get behind that. I don't. I don't. I'm more in the Embiid has still a championship window that's closing. Let's make one more move. Look, you trade Tyrese Maxey, you go bring in another star to pair with Joel Embiid and James Harden, and then trade Tobias Harris for other things. Like, get it done. Give it one more run. And then see what happens. And if it doesn't, Joel Embiid is still an MVP caliber player. And if the next move doesn't work out, then you trade Joel Embiid, you get 5 first-round draft picks, you start rebuilding again. But I'm all in because I've gone 40 years my whole life without an NBA championship. I want that championship. You just need a healthy Embiid. See, the thing is, we need a healthy Embiid, but we need that killer clutch time shooter that with 2 minutes left, down 3, is going to take that shot like a Kyrie Irving type. I want to trade Maxey for KD before, and people hated me. Like I wasn't ready to do it, but I talked about it on this show when I was on my previous network, Mitch, and I said we'd be stupid to say no. I understand, but be stupid to say no. I mean, you got to win. Like, if we had won 3 titles over the last 10 or 15 years, or even made some deeper playoff runs over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe no. But we haven't gotten out of the second round. We haven't made the NBA Finals since Iverson, and we've not won a title in 40 years. Like, we don't have – it's not like Pittsburgh where they've won 5 Super Bowls. They're always good, and they could take a step back with Kenny Pickett, and see what they got, because it's not like their fans are like, I need that Super Bowl because we've never won one. Like, go all in. Trading Embiid starts the process again. Right, but trading Embiid could start the process again, but a quicker process. Because let's be honest, anybody saying we're not getting value for Embiid, you either get a star player back and a few draft picks, or you get, just think about it, Rudy Gobert went for 5 draft picks, first-round draft picks. Paul George years ago went for like 6,000 first-round draft picks. That's how Oklahoma City started their process. So you could still get plenty of draft picks over a 2-year window for Joel Embiid that you could speed up the process if you're doing it again. I mean, you got to look at it. They lost 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. They have nothing but Tobias Harris to trade away. Got to understand if they give up Maxey, that's just – look, again, and that's why I'm okay trading Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris. We're not losing Harden. Harden's staying. I'm under the assumption that he is staying. Not saying I like it, but Harden's going to be back. So you got to find pieces, stars, assets, things you can add to Harden and Embiid that maximize those two and give us this window. Look, that Boston trade with Marcus Smart for Porzingis basically scares me, but also doesn't scare me at all, because I think Boston takes a step back. There's no guarantee that Brown and Tatum stay together. So, like, Boston's kind of in flux. Milwaukee, I don't know if you guys saw it, because of that trade, it kind of snuck under the radar late last night. Chris Middleton opted out of his contract. So, Milwaukee's in flux. Miami is 1 year older. How many more years can Jimmy Butler be playoff Jimmy Buckets? Like, eventually he's going to wear out. The Eastern Conference is open for the Sixers. You have Harden, you have Embiid. You go get Kawhi Leonard or Paul George to pair with them. You could win the Eastern Conference next year. It's wide open. The Cavs aren't there yet. The Knicks aren't there yet. Embiid was low effort at the end. He was. 100%. Dude, when Embiid has his condition, he might be the most automatic. Dude, even when he's 80% conditioned, he is literally Cam, I don't know how old you are. You have no profile picture there for me to see and guesstimate. You're not like Eric. I know Eric when he's commenting. I know he's the same age as me, or approximately, because I could tell. I could see the 1 or 2 gray hairs in his picture. Dude, like, in my lifetime, I've watched Hakeem. I've watched Tim Duncan. I've watched greats play center Shaq in my lifetime. Joel Embiid might be the best pound for pound, when healthy and on the court engaged, the most talented offensive player I've ever seen at the center position. Like, he's got so many moves. He's got moves that 7'2", 285 players can't do. But he comes up small in the end because of conditioning, because of health, because of injuries. So many different reasons. Sixers are predictable. But see, the thing is, like, I can't predict what they're going to do right now. I have no idea. And I still think, I'm going to push this topic a lot today, that James Harden and his decision is holding up what Daryl Morey's got to do. No one's going to give up their speed guy for Tobias Harris and Maxey. I will not do Lillard for Maxey. He's another guy that's old and gets injured. I've said this before, Hogan. Like, I feel like for like 5 years, all I did was want to, Dame Lillard in Philly, because he's been my favorite NBA player not in a Sixers uniform. Love the kid. Well, he's not even a kid. He's an old man now, like you said. He's getting old and he's getting injury prone. And now I kind of feel like it's too late for the Dame Lillard talk. But he is available. And if we lost James Harden somehow, I would love Dame Lillard. But even if even if Dame Lillard wanted to come here, I don't think Dame Lillard and James Harden would work in a backcourt together. I don't think it would work. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, he's not. But he's also not getting 4 years, $200+ million from the Sixers. And I'm okay with that. If you get a 3-year, $100 million deal, a 2-year, $90 million deal for James Harden, I'm okay with it. I'm willing to give it another year or two. I am. But if you're going to do that, you kind of have to move Maxey because Tobias Harris is your most, is your most valuable contract to trade, but he's not your most valuable asset. Tyrese Maxey is your most valuable asset. Nobody's doing that Rudy Gobert thing again. But hold on a second. Joel Embiid ain't Rudy Gobert. Joel Embiid's way, way better than Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is a one-trick pony. Plays defense. And even that this year he didn't do very well. That was a bad situation in Minnesota anyway. Minnesota's I don't know a lot about Minnesota, but they've had Cat, they've got Anthony Edwards, they have Rudy Gobert, they had all these picks. They had so much. They've tried Did they try Wiggins? No, D'Angelo Russell. They've tried so many different rotations up there. They keep trying. But man, they just never work out. I don't know if it's coaching, front office, it's so many different things. I have no idea why Minnesota is such a bad franchise. Dude, I've seen Dennis. I've been watching basketball since so backstory me, when I was a kid, I hated basketball. I wanted to be a baseball player. Hence my first tattoo is a Phillies tattoo over here. I wanted to be a baseball player more than anything in the world, but I stunk at it. But I was actually a really good basketball player growing up as a kid. So I watched basketball because it's kind of what I was best at. I've always understood it. The X's and O's of it, the players and the styles. Basketball out of all the sports came most natural to me watching and playing. Coaching if I wanted to get into that. It always was my go-to thing. So I've seen it all. And Joel Embiid is one of the best I've ever seen play the game. No doubt about it. If they only had oh my God. I brought up, Tony, all the NBA drafts for the Sixers for their entire life and since the draft started. And when you're paging through it and you're looking, last year they traded their pick for Melton, who it ended up being David Roddy. I don't even know who that is. The year before, Jaden Springer and that Petruzis guy that's in Europe that might come over, and Charles Bassey, who everybody loved. Year before that, it was Maxey and a bunch of Isaiah Joe and Paul Reed. The year before that, they had 4 picks that they traded away. And Mario Shayok, whatever happened to him? He's not even in the NBA anymore. He played 4 games for the Sixers one year, and that is it. Then the year before that, 2018, and you see they had the number 10 pick, and they had Mikal Bridges, and they traded away. And then they kept the Landry Shamet, and then they did not get much else. Oh, man, some of those draft classes are scary to look back on, we'll just say. You need fast guys. Tobias Harris is too slow. All these slow guys on the floor. They do need speed. They need speed. They need length. They need athleticism. They need speed. They need 6'8" wing guys that can run the court. That's what they need. I agree. All the different rooms Keith Pompey put out there yesterday, the Pistons, the Cavs, and the Pacers are actively talking to the Sixers about Tobias Harris. When the deal happens, who knows? But they are actively talking. And when I hear the Pacers, I go back to the Buddy Hield. He's not that fast guy that you're talking about, but I hear Buddy Hield's name, and I think that's a guy that we need as well. We need shooters. We need snipers, guys that are going to take 3-point shots. Lawnmower going by my window here. I would absolutely do a Paul George for Tobias. Well, Paul George for Tobias works financially, but the only way Paul George for Tobias works if you have draft picks. We don't have draft picks. So you got to include other things of value. So that's why Tyrese Maxey has to be in a Paul George trade. Because why would the Clippers take Tobias? They've got Kawhi. They need something else over there. Tobias isn't going to intrigue them. I don't know if Tobias and Springer would be enough, but I doubt it. But something else. That's right. Good morning, Eric. I was already making fun of you a few minutes ago in the show. Some of these people without profile pictures, I don't know how old they are. I know by your profile picture how old you are. Approximately. And you've told me we're about the same age. So what's up? Good morning. If they could pull the Paul George Tobias trade, I'm all in. It's just not happening. I would do it. Daryl Morey would do it. Sixers fans would do it. But what is the reason why the Clippers would do it? If the Clippers did this trade, it would be because they're trying to get off the Paul George contract, but it would also be because they're trying to get off. They would have to then think to themselves that they're just trying to blow it up in LA. That's the only reason why they would probably do it, is to blow it up. It doesn't make sense. Minnesota, it's a sucky city for sports, period. The Twins stink. The Vikings, and you got Kirk Cousins, Mr. Mediocre, as your quarterback. And then you got the Timberwolves with all this talent that can't ever put it together either. Like, they don't even get second-round exits like the Sixers. They miss the playoffs half the time. Like, it's got to suck to be a Minnesota sports fan. Like, I would hate my job doing this every morning there. They haven't been good since KG's squad. Cassell, Latrell Sprewell. There's a name from years back. Man, I thought Latrell Sprewell was one badass basketball player. I really did. I loved him. Shayok was Dollar Tree. Dude, he was terrible. He was terrible. Does Orlando still have a team? Look, I talked about it earlier this offseason. I want Markelle Fultz back from the Magic, man. I really do. People learn from that one that will never happen again in our lifetime. It's fair. Eric's seen Shaq play. Well, we've all seen. We haven't all seen Shaq play, but Shaq is an easy one. Saying you've seen Hakeem Olajuwon play, now that shows your age. That's what I've been. Look, all these things we're talking about, and it's all centered around, again, all these ideas, all these rumors, all these thoughts that are circulating through Sixers fans' heads. We can't make any decisions. We can't make any. We have no idea what's going on. And I'm just going to continue to say it over and over again, and make sure you're smashing that like button. We got 15 likes actually on YouTube. It's not bad for this point of the show. And 2 on YouTube. We need some more or Facebook likes, but more YouTube likes as well. What? I mean, he has won some NBA titles, so I guess you got that aspect going. But Joel Embiid has better offensive moves and skill sets for sure. But that's about it. But where was I going with this? And I see this. I seen Barkley play in a Sixers uniform. So have I. Dude, so funny side story. So my brother used to work at a food store in high school, my older brother. And the food store he worked at was near where Barkley lived. And Barkley used to be a regular food shopper there. And he used to tell me stories of all these women that would come in and chase Barkley out of the food store, that he eventually had to call ahead and have his groceries picked up before grocery pickup was a thing. So I always thought that was funny. That kind of stuff there. Man, Paul George, get hurt though. Tobias, don't. Dude, honestly, Hogan, what NBA star anymore doesn't miss games? Beal misses games. George misses games. Durant misses games. Giannis, not so much. Literally almost every superstar anymore doesn't even play more than 60-some games. Jokic missed 10 or 15 games this year. Everybody's missing games anymore. You kind of just got to build your team throughout the season and just hope everybody's healthy for the playoffs. That's all that matters anymore. Getting that 5th, 6th, 7th seed and just making the playoffs and being healthy. That's all that matters. Hakeem Olajuwon is the Michael Jordan centers. But the point of that, Eric, before you, this conversation of Olajuwon and all these other guys came up before you were in the comments. The point is that Joel Embiid could be that kind of guy too. But he's just missing something. And this whole poll question from yesterday, you got to trade one, Maxey or Embiid, who you trading? I got called so many names left and right because of even suggesting it. But if you're not willing to trade Maxey to win a title now, you might as well trade Joel while you can. Justin Sue, even through 8. Dude, look, I'm sorry. Your Justin Sue love affair is it's just going too far. Admit it. He's not that great. Got to feel for Minnesota. They've gone more professional sports seasons without a championship than our drought from 83. That's fair. Minnesota is just a dreck of a city to be a sports fan in, man. It's got to, man. And it's cold. It snows nonstop up there. One of my buddies from the cruise ship days, he lives up there in Minnesota, man. Matt, I forget what his last name was. We worked together for a while. He was a trombone player in the orchestra on the cruise ship. It's so annoying having all these women swarm you when you're trying to shop, dude. I just remember him talking about those stories, and it was always so funny. I think the Paul George thing is a little bit more realistic because he's more likely to get injured. He's never on the floor. They might be willing to part with him. I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, maybe you're onto something. Look, I would love Paul George here in Philly. That rumor starts circulating. And I'm like, just do it, man. I mean, I already suggested Kawhi. I did a whole show. It's one of the most viewed shows we've had in the last week or a couple of weeks on this channel. Did it 2 weeks ago. I mapped out the whole plan to get Kawhi here to Philly, and I'm all for it. So Kawhi, Paul George, someone that can play. Paul George, still a great defensive player, still shoots the three well, still grabs rebounds. He could play the three and play defense and guard the best player. He could guard the I don't know about you, Hogan. How often does it frustrate you when Joel Embiid's got to guard Jason Tatum or Giannis Antetokounmpo? Like, that's not what he's supposed to be. He's a 7-2 center, and he's out in the wing covering people because we don't have anybody. Paul George could do that for this team. Like, and he wouldn't have to score more than 23 points a game. He could play great defense and give that Tobias Harris point number a bump. And all of a sudden, we're better. Like, I think it's a no-brainer. I still don't think it's enough. I think if we had a draft pick that was tradable before 2029, that maybe a first-round pick in Tobias might get it done. But that's about it. So you got to find another way to get it done. Missing the offensive awareness and feel. Embiid hasn't mastered that. And at 29 years old, is he going to? I mean, we eventually got to give up on it, don't we? Phil with your drive time, news, and sports. That's right. Make sure you're liking that video. Man, it's gone like 5 minutes without getting another like on this video, my man. Smash that like button. If is more likely going to be two pieces and the draft pick from the Indiana Pacers for Tobias. And again, I was looking at it. I put it up because I like Buddy Hield on this team. Short-term speaking. I think Buddy Hield has peaked as an NBA player, but he still shoots the three in high volume, which we need. And it's something that you need with James Harden, dribble, pass out, and be double team, pass out to the open Buddy Hield. I think Buddy Hield would have possibly one of his best career seasons, or a career season here in Philly. But him alone for Tobias doesn't work financially speaking, so you got to add something else. Do you want TJ McConnell? Do you want Daniel Theis to be Montrezl Harrell opted out of his deal? So you can get Theis to be your backup center. I think that realistically, let me pull this back up here on the screen here, on my side screen. You need about $8 or $9 million. So that'd be Theis, McConnell. They're not going to give up Jalen Smith, obviously. Durante is only $4 million. I would take him as a backup shooting guard. Maybe you get Hield, Durante, and Nesmith. That maybe those three contracts together in a draft pick. Maybe that gets it done. I don't know, but that's where I'm leaning is probably the best option. I know Cleveland's made calls. I don't like what Cleveland's got. Detroit semi-intrigues me. Hold on, let me switch this from them to Detroit. If Detroit wants to buy us, you can go get yourself a Bogdanovich and Marvin Bagley. That intrigues me for sure right there. Bagley still got a couple years left on his deal. Bogdanovich still has a couple years left. You get some shooters. You get a backup big. That intrigues me a lot, Detroit. And they supposedly want a veteran power forward to pair with their young guards. I think Tobias Harris would be a good fit for Detroit. And I think they've got multiple pieces that they can be willing to move off of to make the money work. And I think a Bogdanovich-Bagley deal, I don't even need a draft pick. I'll just take those two players and be pretty happy with that return. If Embiid learned the science, it would be over for the entire league. Yeah. I mean, the last 3 years, we've seen it. Embiid's played an MVP level the last 3 years. He's only won one, but he's played at that level. It's crazy because he's played an MVP level for 3 years, but he hasn't even come close to maxing out. Montrezl Harrell was our backup center this year, former sixth man of the year, played with the Clippers for a long time. And, he opted out of his deal. I mean, did Paul George really miss that many? I want to look it up. I thought he played like 60 games last year. I could be totally wrong on that. But I know he's missed a lot of time. But let me pull it up. I just want to, not that I doubt you, but I want to just pull it up. All right, so he played 56 games this year. So not quite half the games, but pretty close. 31 the year before that, 54 in the bubble year, 48 the year before that. So 2018-19 in OK, his last year in OKC, he played 70. So when he was in OKC, he played 77 and 79 games. And then in Indy, his last few years, 75 and 81. So there was a stretch from 15 through 19 where he was playing a lot. Just in LA, he was banged up a lot, obviously. So it is what it is. Mike Muscala? He was a Sixer for a hot minute. So yeah, Insert picks. Do picks really matter, though? Like, do second-round picks really matter? I'd rather just get the best possible players right now and just make this team. Just make this team a championship team. I will miss Shake Milton. I like Shake Milton. I also know Shake Milton is only so good. Shake Milton on an average or below average team is going to get buckets. He is going to get minutes. You put him on a team that's going to win 30 to 35 games, he's going to play 20, 25 minutes a game every single night, starting or off the bench. You put him on a lottery team that's going to win 15 or 20 games, he starts and probably plays 30 minutes a game and probably puts up 18 points a game. But on an NBA championship team or caliber type team, Shake Milton doesn't get minutes. Not at least many. But he can shoot on occasion. He can score on occasion. He can get to the rim on occasion. The science is what Jordan taught Kobe. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 32 points per game. Picks matter. We need youth and speed. But why do we need youth and speed, Eric? And I don't want to disagree with you, but youth and speed, we need the speed. Don't get me wrong. But why do we need youth? Youth is 4 or 5 years from now. And the argument I had all day yesterday on Twitter is, why are we worried about 4 or 5 years from now? We haven't won an NBA title in 40 years. We need to worry about this year. We need to worry about the NBA championship this year. Youth doesn't help us this year. Another star player helps us this year. More depth helps us this year. You know, a lot of things help us this year. But a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid doesn't help us this year. It helps us 5 years from now. And I don't give one rat's ass about 5 years from now. I just don't. I need that title this year. Because our keep getting ran out of the building at will. And that's because of the speed. We need the speed. I get that. I'm 100% on board about getting more athletic guys on this roster. But that doesn't help us. The youth just doesn't help us this year. Defense and depth, that's why they didn't win this year. The depth, for sure. You know, let me think about that for a second. Did depth really hurt us this year? Because we had D'Anthony Melton on the bench. We had Paul Reed finally coming to his own. You know, we had George Niang. Yeah, I mean, I guess an upgrade on George Niang. So maybe defense, we were a good defensive team. We were just a poorly executed defensive team. We had the pieces. We just didn't have the wing defense. We didn't have the athletic defender to guard the outside. Nick Nurse will be the biggest acquisition this year. And I think that's a fair point. Question is, what will Nick Nurse do with these guys? Like, what does each player that's going to be on this team have that's untapped that Nick Nurse can untap? You know, that's the thing. And again, Eric, this is what I was trying to say when Tony said depth, defense, and depth. You know, I think we might have had depth. We just had a poorly ran rotation. We had improper players playing at the wrong times. Like, how many times did Jalen McDaniels, we bring him in, we tried Matisse Thybulle for him, and he never gets on the court. Or he gets on the court at the wrong times. You know, I talked about it all season long before I was on this network that, you know, when you rotated your stars, like the wrong stars were always playing with each other. Like, I thought Maxey and Harris needed to be on the court and Harden and Embiid on the court, you know, when you're splitting them up. You know, I think there was that. And I think Nick Nurse fixes some of that. I mean, I'm going back to $1 Million Soup 75's coming here. I love the name. Make sure we're liking this video, guys. 16 likes on this video now. Can we get to 20 likes on this video in the next 12 minutes before the show ends? I get to 20 likes sometimes, but a lot of them are on replay. Can we get to 20 likes on this video before this video ends? You know, on YouTube, maybe get to 3 or 4 on Facebook. It would be fantastic if we could. But what does Nick Nurse do? If we just ran the exact same team back, what would he do? Like, how would he do things differently? Like, I'm all for, you know, load management now. Does Joel Embiid, instead of playing 35, 36 minutes a game, will Nick Nurse drop him to 32 minutes a game? Especially if you keep Paul Reed somehow. I don't know how they keep Paul Reed, guys. Like, first and foremost, like, we need a backup center. Because I don't know how they afford Paul Reed. Paul Reed is a backup center all 82 games last year, would have probably given us a playoff midseason for Embiid. I agree. I don't know about the 25 minutes a game from Shake Milton. I don't know about that. Maybe you rest hard in more games. You give him more load management. And Milton starts a few games in his place. But Paul Reed, I just don't know how Paul Reed's back on this team. Like, I saw enough from Paul Reed to know that on a mid team that he could probably start. He probably could. His unorganized chaos that's really sort of organized if you really watch it is valuable in today's NBA. He plays defense, he runs, he hustles. If he learns to control his foul trouble, he's a starting NBA center. Not necessarily on a championship team, but on a team. And there's going to be a team, a mid team, that's going to see Paul George's potential, and they're going to, or Paul Reed's potential, offer him a 4-year contract, 3-year contract, offer him $8, $9, $10 million a year. I just look back. I mean, remember Charles Bassey with half the minutes that Paul Reed played got a 3-year, like $21 million deal from the Spurs. There's no way we keep him. But Nick Nurse, would have found a way to better utilize him for sure. I think Shake Milton's going to shine in a Nick Nurse system. Well, the rumors were yesterday coming out that Shake Milton's most likely gone. So we could pretty much, like, we've got Shake Milton, Paul Reed, Jalen McDaniels, George Niang. There's a whole bunch of guys on our squad, on our bench last year that are free agents. A couple of them young guys like Shake. And Shake's been in the league for quite a number of years now. I think he's like 26 now. But Jalen McDaniels, you got to keep some, but you can't keep them all. So some are going to have to go. You need youth and speed because of James Harden. Yeah. Again, I agree on the speed part. I just don't agree on the youth part because ever since I forget what cat was that posted on Twitter on my account yesterday that he summed up my opinion so well. We haven't won a title. I'm not worried about 5 years from now. I don't need youth. I need experience, and I need championship caliber players. That's what I need. Shake Milton was putting up maxi numbers. He was in a small sample size. He had like 4 really good games in a row. But I think over the course of a longer stretch, a bigger sample size, you would see it come back down to earth a little bit on a great team. On an average team, he's going to have the ability to have bad games and good games and whatever. Shake Milton's going to play somewhere next year. And I'm going to keep tabs on him. He's going to be one of those Sixers that I keep tabs on all the time because I do like the kid. And I think he's done exactly what's asked of him for his entire tenure here in Philly. He's gotten better. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten more confident. He's a mid player. He is. No way the Sixers lose at Game 6 with Nurse at the helm. Yeah, I mean, I don't even need to read the rest of your comment because I don't doubt this. I want to know if Nick Nurse and maximizes ball movement, tight defensive brawls, he makes adjustments. Yeah, the adjustments. What Nick Nurse? Now we're up to 17 likes now. 3 away. We got 7 minutes to get 3 more likes on this video, guys. That's what I want. I want 20 likes. That would make my day. What Nick Nurse, when it looked like James Harden had quit in Game 6, just didn't give a rat's ass. What if he had the balls to bench James Harden? Like, that's what I want. I talked about it before. When Ben Simmons had a 9-turnover first half, I wanted Brett Brown to bench him to send a statement that, this is not going to be acceptable, and he left Ben Simmons in. He had more turnovers in the second half. We lost this game. It was a random game. But, man, I want a coach that's going to hold players accountable. Will Nick Nurse have the guts to do it? I appreciate that. He and TJ are 2 I will always follow. Yeah, I mean, I literally, if I see Pacers highlights or if I see Pacers game on TV, I flip to it for a minute or two. I want to see TJ. And, for nostalgic sake, but also leadership's sake. Like, TJ, if we did a Tobias for Buddy Hield trade, you got to include another contract. I would be okay with TJ McConnell coming back. Some of it's nostalgia, but also he's kind of sort of like a cheaper version of Marcus Smart. Plays tough defense, hustles, loyalty. Players respect him. He's a locker room leader. If you got to make the contracts work with Indy for a Tobias trade and Buddy Hield, I'm taking TJ back if they're willing to part with him. Why not? How much play? I think Dwayne Dedman got 3 seconds of playing time, and those 3 seconds were over Paul Reed in the game. which caused a big uproar. No, he wouldn't have benched him. Yeah, I doubt it, but maybe he benches him for a few minutes to sit him down and say, yo, reset, you know? Floor general you need on a good team. Oh, we need a floor general. I don't know if James Harden's that anymore. Based on what I see, a lot of player movement. There's going to be a lot of player movement. There is. At the bottom. At the top, it's still Joel Embiid and James Harden. The question is, will Maxey be here or another star will be here? Whether Tobias will be here or Buddy Hield will be here. Like, that's the question. And if you trade Tobias Harris for a Buddy Hield, then who's going to be your small forward? Who's going to be your power forward? Who's starting? PJ Tucker and who else? Got to find a way to get PJ Tucker off this team. We're up to 18 likes. 2 away with 4.5 minutes. I might go 1 minute of overtime if I can't get. If we get to 19, might get 2 minutes of overtime. But come on, let's keep pushing that like button up. Helps that algorithm. And that Philly loves Maxey too much. He's not. I know. I got crushed. I mean, Hogan, go look on my Twitter page at Beard of Knowledge. I tweeted a lot yesterday because of that, because of the Hers chips and whatnot. But early yesterday, around 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. yesterday, I put out a tweet with a poll. You got to trade Tobias or Maxey, or you got to trade Joel Embiid, one or the other. And I got crushed for it because so many people are worried about 5 years from now and how Tyrese Maxey is going to be the future of this team. Crushed for it. And I get it. I love Tyrese Maxey. I was trying to come up with an image. I'm not a great graphic designer for a T-shirt. Max Money Maxey. I thought it was a cool, catchy name, and he's going to get max money somewhere. Maxey is not mid. Maxey's a future star in this league. How big of a star? I don't know. Whew. Harden for Drew. I miss Drew Holiday too. Drew Holiday is always a player I've loved a lot in the NBA. Really have. Why would Milwaukee do that though? I mean, they're losing Chris Middleton. Does Milwaukee want a James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo team? I don't know. Mad Max. I know everybody, but I thought Mad Max was too easy. I thought Max Money, Maxey. I'm just thinking of, Shane McMahon. Here comes the money. I'm thinking of that with Maxey. I'm just thinking of with baller money everywhere. I don't know. I loved it, but I came up with one image and it got copyrighted or something like that. It didn't work. It got shut down for some reason. You're gonna buy me mid-Maxey shirts? I don't know. Look, we got a couple minutes left in the show. We're at 18 likes. Maybe we'll get to that 20 mark. We'll get to 20 by the end of the day. We'll get to close to 30 by the end of the day. But to kind of wrap it up, it's like tomorrow is typically off football Friday, and we will talk some football, maybe a lot of football tomorrow. But to sum up this show is, will the Sixers do something today? I got Zach Chavalella, who's the lead Sixers report writer for PSN. He also covers the Eagles and is part of the Flipping the Birds podcast. He's joining me tomorrow. We're going to hash out all this different stuff. The question is, will we be talking all football tomorrow, or will the Sixers do something today, or will the NBA, will some other shocking thing happen in the NBA tonight that steals some of the football talk conversation tomorrow? And that's the thing. Man, money, Maxey. Maybe it works. 4 minutes left. Does Nola look good tonight? Tonight or today? Man, I hate, Tony, on a side note, Phillies talk. We were going to talk some Phillies today. It didn't happen. Man, I feel bad when the Major League Baseball doesn't cancel it. It was an obvious cancel of a baseball game last night. Obvious. And they made those fans show up. They made those fans sit for 2 hours before. Could you imagine? I saw on Twitter one cat, crazy cat, had his tickets canceled. He had tickets for the bad air quality game, and that got canceled. So he moved them to last night, and that got canceled. And he's literally sitting there in the rain for 2 hours. Felt bad. Dude, you got to call games quicker, Major League Baseball. You got to. Maxey's more valuable right now to this team than Harden. Oh, I don't disagree with you. I don't want James Harden back. I've just come to accept that he is going to be back. Look, everything we've talked about, people forget. I'm the one that said, pause year. Just run it back, Maxey and Embiid, and that's it. Let everybody else, whatever. Trade Harris, pause. And then focus on 2024's offseason. You still make the playoffs. You still might make a run the playoffs depending on what happens. I'm all about the pause year, but that's not what's going to happen. I want the NBA title, but a pause year doesn't eliminate that from happening. A pause year doesn't mean it doesn't happen in 2 years. I'm just not worrying about 4 or 5 years from now. I'm not making decisions about 4 or 5 years from now. I don't want those kind of decisions. There you go with the why. Not our problem. 2KGM like the rest of the NBA. Yeah, I love it. I love it. At the end of the day, everybody's got a price. Yeah, I'm not even going to laugh. You didn't drop 500 in the super chat, so you're not getting the laugh. They're all about the money in the – yeah, I mean, exactly. I felt bad, man. Like they had to get their quota in money sold at the concession stands, or they weren't going to call the game till they got that. This man Wooder, this Rain Wooder, not good, Phil, not good. Yeah. Look, we didn't get it. We're over an hour. We stopped at 18 likes. I got to wrap it up. But again, tune in tomorrow. It could be all Football Friday. It could be half Football Friday, half Sixers talk. If something shocking happens, it might be all Sixers and NBA talk. I don't know. I told Zach, he's like, well, what's the agenda for tomorrow? I'm like, till the NBA draft's over? No idea. Till we wake up tomorrow morning? No idea what it's going to be. But it's going to be something. So you're going to want to tune in tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of fun. All your comments matter. So just because I got a guest on does not mean your comments won't be answered, addressed, and talked about. It's going to be about all you, as always, guys, because Trending the AM here on Philadelphia Sports Network, it is, like I say, where your opinions matter. It's the only show where your opinions matter. Nobody else cares about the fans. Dude, I watch so many podcasts. I see the comments rolling in, and nobody listening, nobody hosting actually addresses any of them. Just tune in. You never know. And smash that like button and share it. Shout it out. Tell your neighbor. Dude, when you're at the Wawa today getting your hoagie and your roast pork Hearst chips, knock on the shoulder on the guy behind you or in front of you. Say, yo, tune in to Trending in the AM. Tell your guy sitting in the cubicle next to you. Adam, when you're at whatchamacallit, Jenner's Pond or wherever it is you work, go knock on every old person's door. Be like, yo, tune in the morning, man. This is where you got to go. Best sports talk show there is. I put this up against any. I put shows like today, specifically when you're all super active, I put this show up against every show, radio, TV, YouTube, wherever it is. I put it up against everybody, man. I really am proud of these shows, and I'm proud of you guys getting involved and the community we're building here. I really am. So we're gonna wrap it up. I tried to stretch it for 2 extra minutes to see if we can get to the 20 likes. We didn't. It didn't happen. Disappointing. You guys disappointed me, damn it. All right, anyway, we got to wrap it up. For Philadelphia Sports Network, I am Phil Stiefel. You all have a great day. Tune in tomorrow. Zach Chavalella, Trending in the AM, 8:30 a.m. You all have a great day. Let's get something done today, guys. Y'all have a great day.